Greetings, Shelpers. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Bookbound. I'm going to do this as a YouTube exclusive because we are working on so many other things. I think this is the one I was doing on stream, but I'm honestly not sure. Let me close out and see if it just lets me continue. Nope, I'm gonna have to choose. I think we were totally correct. Looks kind of familiar. Yeah, my other store is way bigger than this. Okay, just making sure. We're back at it on the mean streets of Dansbury, or wherever the hell this takes place. I hope everyone had a good weekend. We will pump the duck for some good luck over here. And I'm not going to do it like too long because it's going to get a little bit annoying, but just, to steal his lunch money or milk money, Ducks don't deserve that kind of thing. He's a mallard and he's malicious. Okay, we're going to talk to the ghost writer turned video game writer. I used to think failure was the end of the story. Turns out it was just a plot twist. Writing games won't be the dream I planned for, but maybe it's the dream I needed. I spent years looking back. Now for the first time in a long time, I'm looking forward. Richard, why do you sound like a motivational poster? Did you pitch your idea? I ask. Not yet, but I finished the draft, says Richard. The dialogue's rooted in lyrical prose like... wait. In lyrical prose like... Okay, I'm not sure. I must be misreading that. The dialogue's rooted in lyrical prose like the world itself is singing. Okay, that makes sense. In prose, like the world itself is singing. Gotcha. That is a M dash. There we go. I just don't know if people will connect with it. So it sounds beautiful and unique. You could even weave music into it. Let the words and melodies dance together. It'd elevate the whole thing. Maybe even draw on music lovers. That's genius. I need to say all of that in my pitch. Hold on, I need to write this down. You're onto something special. Who says a game can't be art? Games are art? I mean, where did they get that idea? Sounds like a bunch of non-gamers. So totally bogus. Exactly. Why can't it be more than just a game? Why can't it be an experience? A lot of games are an experience. Sometimes not a great one, but an experience nonetheless. Now we go back to Walter. I saw this poster at the university last week. It was for a grief support group. I don't know if it's my thing, but maybe it's worth considering. I was rereading one of Martha's letters yesterday. It was the one she wrote when she was away with her girlfriends in the south of France. Oh man, did that woman have spirit. The word girlfriend is something that a lot of the LGBTQ community takes umbrage with when a straight woman talks about her gal pals, basically. Because when you say girlfriend, it often implies like, oh, I am romantically involved, because a guy never uses girlfriend in any other context. But I digress. I read online it can be good to get a pet after a loss. Someone to keep you company. Another cat might be nice. You mentioned a grief support group. Did you end up going in the end? See what I mean about having all this available at one point? I did. I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was comforting to be around people who understood. What did you talk about? I shared a bit about Martha and talked a bit about our letters. They seemed genuinely interested. That's wonderful. Sometimes sharing our stories helps us heal. It's true, and as painful as it is to relive those memories, there is a comfort in knowing her memory is still alive. Yeah, it can hurt sharing what goes on in the past, but there is something called bittersweet. And as you get older, a lot of people tend to adjust better if they're used to like bittersweet, where they can feel sad, but it still makes them smile because something good or worthwhile had happened. Okay, now the romantasy vlogger. I'm finally learning how to say no to things that don't feel right. I've been getting a lot of messages from people who say my content has inspired them to start their own vlogs. I was on Danny's podcast again. It was so much fun. I liked them a lot. What's wrong? You're making that face again. I think I made a mistake. The brand has asked me to change a ton of things about how I run the vlog. Nothing huge, but enough that it just doesn't feel authentically me anymore. I suppose they want their product shown a certain way. Exactly, and the sponsorship is a big deal. But I started this vlog because I love books, not because I wanted to be a walking ad. So what do you want to do? I don't know. I love that I'm making this work, but if I lose what makes my content mine, then what's the point? Sounds like you already know the answer. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it can be hard walking the line between, like, finding success, and a lot of people take that as monetary, and finding some sort of what you can live with. And I think everybody has that line. What would you sell out for? Would you sell out for anything? Is sharing something you love with your audience really selling out? Or is it just sharing something with your audience? You know, it gets kind of complicated. I think we could talk about that on the podcast sometime, but I'm gonna forget. Charlie says, I showed a chapter to a mate, which is a friend over there, at the shop. They actually liked it. I mean, they had notes, but they liked it. I mean, that's a good friend that comes with you or to you with notes. Because most people just give you something generic like, oh, this is great, or oh, it sucks. Versus, you know, the character in the third act, their motivation doesn't really seem authentic. Like, that can really help you pinpoint what you need to work on. So that sounds like a good friend. I saw a post from last year's contest winner. Their book is getting published. Imagine if that could be me someday. Well, everybody, like, so many people get published every day. Could be you. Although, like, 80% of people, or 86 or so percent, say they're gonna write a book, and they never do. Not just 86% of writers, just 86% of people in general. They're like, well, if I had the right time, or my kids were off to college, or blah, blah, blah. You know, people make the time. I've written my first page like 10 times. Turns out starting is the hardest part. It can be. My poems tend to sag in the middle, but how's it going, kid? Not bad. I'm just restless, waiting for results from the writing competition. I keep telling myself I don't care either way, but I do. Of course you do. It's tough when you put your heart into something, but no email will change the fact that you did something incredible. Even if it's a rejection, even if it was just a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, though. And I'll tell you why after this. Absolutely, because next time you'll learn from what to do, or learn from it and do even better. You're right. That is a thing. You do learn. You learn if you made a mistake in reading the guidelines. You learn if you actually fucked up your last page. You learn a lot. You know, and the more often you read and write, the better you get in general. Or at least you tamp down your mistakes. So Brianne is the one who's working on the murder mystery, says, I can't believe I actually talked to a ghost book. The universe is such a strange place. The investigation just became so much more important. And now Stefan comes in. So as I said last time, you seem to have been investigating the food poisoning cases in town, but believe them to be poison. Yes, I remember now. I'd been reading about the Zodiac killer, and it turns out the mom of the suspect died from strychnine poisoning. Strychnine? It's a pesticide commonly used as rat poison. What? I know things. Well, this poison causes symptoms which can be mistaken for strokes or heart attacks, which is what was put down as the cause of death for all 7 deaths. But you didn't believe that. Well, you see, I'd been put in charge of obituaries for these people, and whilst investigating their lives to write something meaningful, I learned more about their deaths. I just can't remember anything, well, ever since. You know, I died. I'll look into it, Stefan, don't worry. So, he had a hunch. I think we had everything stocked up. No, we didn't. There are big gaping holes. Toluca, you idiot. Okay, let's take a look. It's in a book. We'll find the ones that we don't own. I've been playing more Dinkum, and now I'm moving the other people into town in my 2nd year. I don't know if the hairstylist has to be moved in at the 2nd year or what, but I got her and the food lady, so I'm pleased with that. I'm making the food lady's place first. So then I'll have everybody, but I'm also starting to make a fruit orchard in the game, so very nice. Thank you for shitting all of my books. Okay, I think is that a new book? Yeah, look, The Creepy Lady and The Joy of Robotic Control is literally the same, just like reversed where the text is. Okay. And that was a fantasy book? If so, I need a new actual... Yes, okay. So let me put these down. And let's get a new bookcase. It's gonna take me a minute. I haven't played this in a hot second, so... I don't think we've opened up the fantasy bookshelves yet. Nope, not at all. Okay, we're gonna take a full bookcase. I really need to start saving up some fucking money though, because I need a store expansion like yesterday. But so far not. Let's try not to get them stuck. They'll get stuck anyway. Let me just put this like separate. So maybe they will have an easier time moving around. Knock on wood, X to doubt, all that good stuff. So yeah, we had our Easter. It was really cool. Really nice. Watched all the shows, ate some good food. Very nice and relaxing time. I was gonna tell you all about my Easter during Expedition tomorrow because I'm recording this late on Monday. I was gonna record it earlier, but we had storms literally all day. Like every time it would calm down, something would happen, and our internet keeps getting knocked out, so it has not been the most pleasant, conducive time to uploading a video and whatnot, so I just decided to do it now. If I upload this tonight, which I'm going to, if I upload Expedition tomorrow to the channel, then I will probably end up having an issue in the way that I'll have 2 uploads per Tuesday, and I don't like to overload the channel like that, so I might upload what the fuck did I just do? That went really fucking fast, didn't it? Okay. I might upload Expedition to the channel on Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. No promises either way, but I just don't want to like overload everybody, considering I talk about the same shit literally over and over again. So I figured out watching Easter Egg Morning again, that Easter Egg Morning is basically a musical, like a 26-minute musical. There's like about 5 numbers and maybe 1 repeats or something. So in like 26 minutes, you have like 5 musical numbers, let's say. That's a significant chunk if you're not just doing a 10-second song, and they're not. So let me try to get some more assholes in my shop. Oh boy. Oh boy. Not this, Lord, not this. Okay, we got them. We got them. Okay, this one should be easier. Watch me get none of them. And I know there's like a lot of VTuber drama happening with some of the bigger ones. I haven't really looked into it yet. I might, so I can like give my opinion and whatever, but like there are a lot of toxic people in the VTuber community, like online in general, anywhere in general, honestly. But a lot of these people, it's like, I know why some people don't want to be friends with other creators, and it isn't just to like snub them. It's because it's really difficult to trust what's going on. Okay. I thought he wanted romantic control. Is that not what happened? It must be one of these. I'm not sure. I might have put him somewhere he didn't want to be, but we'll work on it. But yeah, we have had run-ins with people, husband and I, and they're not even like big names. They're just people who were not nice and whatnot. And it happens a lot of places, but the thing is, I do talk about the VTuber community, but the word community does get thrown about a lot, and we actually have our own microcosms of community in different places. So It's not as though we are one big monolith, which is the way it is for anybody doing a hobby or whatever. Yes, we have the number. I forget where it is though. There we go. And because of that, people often act like, oh, you know, everybody's nice, everybody's good, everybody gets along, like we're all one big happy family, and that's not the case for a lot of people. I wonder what the hell is on this. Okay, hold on, I gotta check this out. And I don't really like the insinuation that, you know, if there's a problem at your doorstep, that it was necessarily your fault or whatever. I don't know, it's complicated. But, you know, some people say they're one thing and they're not, or they want to be really famous, so they don't care who they step on. And that happens with a lot of industries. That happens with singers, all that kind of fun stuff. You think that they want to be friends or whatever, and they just want to use you for what they can get. Or you turn around and they're like stealing your solos or your agent or whatever. It's complicated. People are shitty, be very careful. And online, because of the anonymity, people feel often like there aren't that many consequences. So also you have to be careful. Because if people don't have any kind of scruples, they're gonna be like, well, it's just online. It's like, who really cares? It's not real life. You know, that whole, if you're being bullied online, just get off the internet, what the fuck are you doing? Well, it's kind of like when people fuck you over as well. It's like, well, you got fucked over online, but you know. Okay, there's a fantasy one. I'm gonna do it because we already have a fantasy shelf, so that makes sense. But yeah, I could give my full opinion, but like I said, I remember the Spanish-speaking VTuber from a while back who, I think I told you all this story, about how this guy said this woman who was like an up-and-coming VTuber in the Spanish-speaking community, how they were basically, this guy was pretending to be a disabled mute girl, and it was just a lot. Like, there are a lot of people who tried to do a lot of things to either get their 15 minutes of fame. Ah, shit. That letter didn't count. I didn't know how high it was getting. I have to go in and put like a couple different chapters in my book. Excuse me, I don't want to write another book. I want to add another chapter though. What kind of book are we writing? Hold on. Ethical Adventure of the Witch. There we go. I have no idea. Scandal of the Star. So we are writing a fantasy type sci-fi situation, I guess. Okay. Treasure of the Randomize. Treasure of the Griffin. There we go. And that should tap out our entire inspiration. We could actually, you know what? I should do this. I should show you all like what happens when you publish a book. So the book title is going to be called Enchanting Poetic Enigma. There we go. Oh wait, I have to like remove the words untitled book first. Okay, Enchanting Poetic Enigma. There we go. That's our book title, and we will be adding a cover. You can swap the chapters around also. The covers are just like different colors, but it shows you like where the title can be. It doesn't actually put it there. So it's basically like the randomized covers we already get, which is fine. We're gonna make it green. We're going to make it, let's say, have that. Let's take the title down a notch because I can't even see what's going on here. Okay, fine. All right, so now we're gonna go green. We're gonna do accent. Ooh, that looks pretty bad, actually. You know what? Yes. Graphic design is my passion, Shelpers. Oh, that makes it even better. Okay, I don't want any critter on the cover, I don't think. It's just gonna be some weird green thing that with stripes. And it's just one title, okay? I don't know, like, what the other stuff is, but we're gonna keep it that way. And then we are going to... Okay, we added cover. We can do a publishing option. It is going to be... yeah, I like fantasy more than sci-fi, but it sounds more like a sci-fi book, so I'm not sure. Publish. Congratulations. Now I can actually order copies of my book. I'm not joking. I'll show you. So now I need yet more space for fantasy books, because now I have a fantasy book on the shelf. See? Enchanting Poetic Enigma. I have a book now. And this is the book that I had before. I sold out a fair amount of copies for actually bringing no one into my store in the afternoon, which is very good. 1, 2, 1. But yeah, you always have to figure out who you can trust in this life. But, you know, looking at it that way, I don't want to like scare the hell out of people either. Like, oh, you can never trust anybody. That's not true. You can. I've met some really good people in the VTubing community. It's just, people are people, okay? And sometimes people in bad ways. So, I mean, I know you're all adults, and I know you probably know that already, but by the same token, I just don't want anybody going, well, I saw them around like a chat room, or in this case, I guess a Twitch room, or in YouTube comments, and they're good, they're funny, they're whatever. You can be as funny as you fucking want and still be a piece of shit. Like, just because someone's funny doesn't mean anything, honestly. I'm gonna like put these all over the room because I need to start like finding out which books I need to have more of around here. So okay, that book might be the book that we are missing on the one shelf. Let us find out, shall we? This shelf right here. Fantasy. Yep, that was it. That was the one. Okay, good. Okay, we are missing one other type of book. Okay, Enchanting Poetic Enigma is on here. So we need the one that is new for the book season that we just ordered. Deadly Deception? I don't know if we need Deadly Deception. What book did we not have? We might have needed that one, actually. Is this the one? Let me see. Because we're gonna look for every green book, god dang it. Okay. Okay, that's a different green book, so I think this is the one that goes on the shelf up here. Awesome. Okay, this is the one that goes on the shelf over here. We'll put everything to rights, and then we'll start looking through what we got going on. We might need another container for our books as well. I was looking up what it takes to be the poet laureate of my state today, because I thought all laureates basically needed some kind of post-secondary education degree, and it doesn't necessarily seem so, which I find interesting because I thought they did, but you do need to travel. So I used to want to be a poet laureate, and they actually, you know, bring poetry into the schools and are passionate advocates for it, and into the prisons or wherever you think like people could learn to, you know, write poetry for personal growth or for a lifelong appreciation, whatever it is, whatever it happens to be. And I've always wanted to like work with prisons and nursing homes, especially. Yes, kids still need it too and learn to love it, but like younger kids especially haven't had the love of reading like totally like pulled from them like we do in like high school and college. Anyway, Walter's here. I decided to adopt a cat, a 7-year-old tabby called Patty. Patti Smith was always Martha's favorite singer. Patti Smith is good. It felt like a sign. I went to the grief support group again and took a couple of letters for them to read. It's nice they get to know Martha even with her gone. Patty is such a lady of leisure. I've bought her every toy, scratch post, and treat this town sells. Oh hey Walter, what's new with you? It's funny you ask. Something crazy happened. Oh, what's that? Well, this lady in the support group, Linda, she write for the local paper. Well, she and I got chatting after last week's session. She said she was really moved by my letters and wanted to pitch them to her boss as a column. Can you believe it? Wow, that's big. Is that something you want to do? I'm not sure. It feels strange to share something so personal with the world, but Martha always said our story was worth telling. Maybe this is the way to do it. Yeah, then it keeps her alive longer, but also some of those letters might be really personal. Like, hey Walter, what you did with your tongue last night? So good, you know? So, you never know. You'd have to really think about that. Emma says, I've been getting more personal in my vlogs. People are really connecting with it. I started a series about real life love stories and it's so much fun to make. I have a hard time getting too personal in my videos as myself. So, I have a date with Danny next week. Things are going really well. I have an update. I officially ended the sponsorship. I want to stay authentic to my brand. That was very brave. How do you feel? I feel nervous, but good. I even spoke about it on my vlog and people have been so kind and supportive. I even gained a couple of 1,000 followers, so a couple thousand, I guess. That's amazing. You should be proud of yourself. Staying true to ourselves isn't always easy. Thank you for being so supportive. No, and because if you flash enough cash in front of somebody, it will make them pause and want to like change things even if they know it's not a good idea. So, Charlie says, I'm trying to write something new, but it's hard when my brain is stuck on the contest. Actually, they say that's one of the best ways to get like over your anxiety about a contest, because if you only have the one story, you're waiting forever for that one story, and that one story holds all your attention. If it's one of like 50 stories you have sent out to contests or whatever, much less difficult to focus on writing something new or doing other things. I was thinking about what you said, and no matter what happens with the competition, I'm proud that I tried. I had the best idea for a story I had the best idea for my next short story. It's about robot mermaids. I got the email, and what's the verdict? I won. I mean, 3rd place, but still. That's incredible. I knew you had something special, so what did you win? Well, 1st place won 10,000 pounds or euros. I'm not good with this. I think pounds, but anyway. Grant to study the creative writing at any university in the UK. Yeah, pounds. Okay. I won 3,000 pounds, but between that and my savings from working at the shop, I think I have enough. Can't you apply for student finance to help with the expenses at university? Yeah, but it only covers tuition, really. If your parents earn in a certain range, you get next to no support for living expenses because your parents are supposed to help, but mom needs every penny. Sounds like a bad system. Good thing you won the grant. Exactly, now I just have to apply and get in somewhere. Yeah, it's tricky. And a lot of times people don't like it when you're taking out loans for, well, the banks are and whatever else are fine with it. Because, you know, regardless of what you're going for, but most people say like creative writing is a stupid thing to go to college for. And I kind of see their point in a way, because like I said, unless you're like ghostwriting or unless you're teaching writing, you really don't get enough money for writing. And that's the issue. People, and even in like the movie business and stuff, like the writers for the movie script are often treated like they're not any good, or they are the low man in seniority or importance. So, and I can't necessarily prove that, but I've heard it's true. I've never been in Hollywood myself. But I also know that a lot of times writers in movies are actually more gracious than like the directors or the cast are, because they don't have like everybody like following them around telling them they've done a good job. So I do every once in a while review movies on my blog or talk about certain things, and I had at least one writer of a movie thank me for the review I did of their movie. So the writer themselves actually must have pinged a something in their search, because you can set up Google to let you know if like somebody is like publishing something about you or one of your projects. And so I think that's what happened. All of a sudden he was pinged that I was talking about his movie, and then he's like, hey, thank you for what you said. So I'm like, that's cool. I'm glad you got a kick out of it or enjoyed it or whatever. Like I said, being the writer portion of it isn't always the most thankful job in the universe. Which I find funny because writers are important too. I should have the book. If I don't have the book, the little indicator in the bottom would be like, yeah, we don't have this, so. Okay, we're gonna just take this. I'm going to do sailing forward. Or sailing toward. I forgot which shelf that was on. Okay, they didn't pick it up yet. Alright. I can't wait to expand the store. I honestly can't. People aren't getting stuck as much as usual, I don't believe. My shop is pretty busy for as small as it is. Nice. When I get an auto checkout, it's a lot easier, but then I don't gain inspiration for when they check themselves out either. So then it's just the letters you find out in the wild, so that makes it even harder. But yeah. I have to make sure I keep this clean. I'm not sure if they walk out when it's dirty, but I know like people in real life probably would be like, oh my god, this place smells like a trash heap. I'm not buying from this place. So we're gonna put this back on the shelf. We have 2 books here missing. I think it's this one. I'm not even sure anymore. Probably not. Well, yeah, that is the Mars Rider book. Okay. But I've heard something about Clair Obscur, and that is there is like an hour to get going, and I'm gonna try not to. Can I talk with this guy? Come on, let me talk. Let me talk. Sometimes they don't let me talk unless I clean. So I might be stuck. Like, Deadly Deception. I thought it said I'm very near Deadly. Wait, it's in the back here, isn't it? Fuck. Never mind. Okay. I guess I'll take the nonfiction. But yeah, there's like an hour of talking, so I'm gonna have to basically shut my app tomorrow, which I don't usually have too much of a problem with, but also at the same time, I'm like, I better add something interesting, but I don't want to like talk over like all the information they're gonna give me because it's a new franchise, so I maybe am worrying a bit too much about it, but at the same time, my poor little brain is like, people are not gonna like you, like not adding anything or whatever, so I have a hard time with it. You know, being a content creator, I don't really think I'm creating content. I don't know what I'm actually doing, but it's not that. It's definitely not art or whatever. Yeah, I talk while I play, but it's just talking while I play. That's a difference. Okay, Richard says, I got lost in the world I'm creating today. It felt like coming home. The more I work on this, the more I realize maybe I was just never a novelist. I was always a storyteller. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to tell a story, dude. It's strange. The more I build the game, the more it feels like I'm creating something that could outlast me Even the books that you write that are forgotten about outlast you. My book, I don't even think sold 100 copies, and it's supposed to sell about 1,000 on average, so that's a big old oof. But even that, somebody will find my book someday, and maybe they'll find something in it that's interesting or whatever. And it's about the people who connect with your work more so than if you get like millions of people. I would rather have a connection with like 20 people strongly with my work than people who read it and forget about it. Like 10,000 people who read it and forget about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm going about that the wrong way. But then again, if 10,000 people buy it, maybe they would pass it on to more people and more people would know, and then I'd have more people who I have a connection with in some way. It's hard sometimes. How's the pitch coming? I sent it off today. It's terrifying, but it's also exhilarating. So what is the story? You play the Dreamweaver, a wandering bard whose music shapes reality. You are tasked with mending or breaking the realm depending on whether you align with good or evil. That sounds incredible. Actually, that does sound pretty good. I wonder if this guy will make that game next. You should be proud. No matter what happens, you're putting yourself out there. Yeah, and for the first time in a long time, I feel proud of my work. You know, that's another thing. It's always important to feel like you're creating something worth it. If you're creating something you hate the whole way down, or if you're making something that you don't think is gonna make an impact on anybody, it can just be like, why bother? Emma says, I'm starting a live stream for my subscribers this weekend and I'm honestly nervous. I feel so exposed. I've been collaborating with Danny on a new video series. We're calling it Love and Books and Life. I just hit 50k subscribers. This whole journey is surreal. I'll never get even to 1,000 in my entire time, either as Toluca or as Tamara myself, basically. Danny and I are official now. That's wonderful news. You guys have been spending a lot of time together. Yeah, it's a lot of balance work, the vlog and the relationship, but I think it's worth it. Well, it sounds like you're building something beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. It must be nice that you have similar passions for romance and fantasy. So nice. We have so much fun appearing on each other's platform and helping bounce ideas off each other. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. At one point I thought Mr. Toluca and I would do a blog together for video games, but that never materialized. With his knowledge of video games and everything, and our passion for it, and my, I don't know what I'd bring, something. Maybe I would just say cock a lot, I have no idea. But anyway, here is Birani, the woman who's doing the murder investigation. I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly, I don't think. I never thought food poisoning could be this complicated. I feel like I'm starting to put the pieces together. I feel like the pieces are right in front of me, but they make sense, only make sense when I step back and look at the bigger picture. I just hope I'm looking at this investigation right. There's a lot riding on this. I've spoken to a pathologist I know. He's willing to take another look at the cases from back then. That's amazing. Stefan will be delighted. It's still so hard to believe there's a ghost book in your shop that only employees can see. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Well, anyway, the doctor said that if we found new evidence of poisoning, new evidence of poisoning, it's possible we can reopen the case. What you're doing, it's incredible. Honestly, it's been a thrill for me. Plus, it's good to know it might bring some closure to Stefan and to everyone else who never got the answers they deserved. Yep. That kind of looks like Wario if he were a stockbroker down on his luck. I'm just saying. Alright. I might actually end it here. I don't know how long I've been going on, but I don't like to make these videos too long. I want to make them more digestible. So I might just set up for the next day and then save off camera. And then maybe I'll do another one of this next week. If everybody's starting not to like it, I guess I could just move on. I just like being able to like ramble about books and everything else when I'm not like busy in combat or whatever. So I want to thank you so much for watching. This will hopefully be posted really late Monday night, which means it's technically Tuesday morning. I'm going to be playing Expedition 33, whatever obscure, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central, and I will hopefully see some of you there. I hope you have a great night, you hydrate, you rest, You know you deserve the world, and I'll see you then. Bye.